We continue with more of the Sheva Dinechemta prophecies of redemption following Tisha B'Av, time of year that we are in right now at this moment. And so this chapter begins, Rani Akara Lo Yolada. Shout, your Akara, the one who is infertile, the one who gave birth to no children. Pitzchi Rina V'Tzahali Lo Chala, Ki Rabim B'nei Shomema, Mibnei V'Ula Amar Adonai. Shout aloud for joy, you who did not suffer, for the children of the wife who was forlorn, the one who was barren, will outnumber the one of the one who seemed like she was in control, the one who seemed like she had everything going for her. And there's a piece of Talmud where a heretic, a min, might be an early Christian, came to Bruria, and he said to her, "It's written, sing barren woman who's not given birth." And he was making fun of her. And she responded to him, look at the end of the pasuk. She has not given birth, right? She says to him, no, I will sing. Because the woman in the beginning of the verse is saying, I did not give birth to children who will suffer, who will die, like the downfall of Babylon. That's probably in some ways what this chapter is about, as opposed to the ascendancy of Israel. So, you can look it up. It's in Talmud Masechet Brachot. You can go more into it there. Harchivi mekom ohalech v'yiriot mishkanotayich yatu al tachsichi ha'arichi metarayich v'tedotayich chazeki. Enlarge the site of your tent, extend the site of your dwelling. Do not lengthen the ropes and drive the pegs firm into the ground. Right? You think that you're going to be withheld. You think that you're going to be in a narrow place. No. Enlarge the size of your tent. God is going to give you much. There's going to be big buildings you're going to have to build. You're going to have in a sense, a large empire, a large territory. That's how great your return is going to be. Here we see some more lichadodi. Ki yaminu smol tifrotzi, v'zarech goyim yirash, va'arim nishamot yoshivu. Because you'll be spread right to the right and the left, but your offsprings, they will dispossess nations, and shall people, right? They will become the people of desolate towns, right? They, Bnei Yisrael, who have been spread to all different places, will become once again the inhabitants of the land of Israel, the places that have been destroyed, as has been stated multiple times over the last chapters. The places that seem like desert will blossom, will flower. Talked about the Negev, number of chapters back. Al tir'i ki lo toivoshi, right? More lechadodi. Fear not. Don't be shamed. Don't be embarrassed. V'al tikalmi ki lo tachbiri. And don't cringe. Don't be disgraced. Ki voshet alumayich tishkachi v'cherpat almunatayich lo tizkriot. Because you're going to forget the problems that you had when you were young, and you will remember no more the shame of your womanhood, the shame of being an almana. And this seems to be like Mustard talking to Bnei Yisrael. You won't be fearful anymore. You won't be scared. Yes, in a sense, you saw yourself as a widow, but God says he doesn't leave Bnei Yisrael. I am still there with you. And all of the embarrassing things, all of the horrors and the suffering that you had will be forgotten. They will not be remembered anymore. They will disappear. And perhaps there are those who understand that this is talking perhaps to the Olei Bavel. Again, especially if this understanding is this is a second Yeshayah, one who lives later, one who lives following the destruction of the first Beit HaMikdash, and only a very small population, 42,000 or so, plus some servants returned first when they're given permission in the year 539 by Koresh to return and to build the Beit HaMikdash. And he's saying to them, don't cringe, don't be worried, don't be disgraced. That will all be forgotten. Go back to Jerusalem, make your tents bigger. Everything is going to be, God is going to make us once again have a temple and once again have our own autonomy, etc., etc. And why do we know that this is the case? Ki vo alayich, we're in verse 5, pasuk hey, osayich Adonai tzvot shemo, v'go aleich kadosh Yisrael, ohei kol haaretz yikareh. Because the one who made you, who is your Baal? It's the one who made you who is your Baal, who is your husband, who is your partner, which is God. And God is the Holy One of Israel. And God is the one who is in control of all of the earth. So yes, the Babylonians have had their way with us. The Assyrians have had their way with us. In the future, others will have their way with us. But ultimately, the one who is our partner and our Redeemer is God. And God controls all of the earth. As we've said multiple times in this chapter, describing God in the previous chapters, describing God as the maker of the heavens, the one who stretched out the earth. So we don't have to worry. Yes, bad things have happened, but God is in control and will bring you back. Ki isha azuva va'atzuvat, ruach kara'ach Adonai v'eshet nurim ki tima'es amar Elohayich. God has called you back as a forlorn wife who was forsaken. Can one cast off the wife of his youth, said God. Right? God says, I can't. Yes, in a sense, you were rejected. The Babylonians came, the Assyrians came, they exiled you, they destroyed our cities, but I will not throw you off completely. Same way, a number of chapters back, Yeshayah says from God, do I see your bill of divorce? Has it been given, the get? No, it hasn't been given. There is not sefer kritut. You may have been distanced, you may have been separated, but now you will come back together. I cannot send away the wife of my youth. Barega katon azavtich, uverachamim gadol akabtzech. For in a small amount of time, I left you. Right? We think of it as a big time, and certainly as we're living in the third exile, right? Egypt 1 and Babylon 2 and Rome 3, which has gone for too long. But at this point in time, it was a rega katon. And certainly from God's perspective, it's a rega katon. It's a small amount of time. But with rachamim gdolim, with great, vast love, I will bring you back. I will return you. There will be kibbutz goliot. And when I think to Birkat Hamazon, benching, when we say Uvnei Yerushalayim Yerakosh Meirav Yameinu Baruch Hashem Boneh Barachamav Yerushalayim Amen. If you look recently over the last couple of years, and certainly earlier, but benchers, Birkonim have started to put the word Rachamim in parentheses. It's based on a Gemara in Masechet Brachot that God's judged. God doesn't do Rachamim. God doesn't do mercy. When God brings the Jewish people back, it's just going to be the way that it is. Again, it has to do with the Gemara and Brachot and other places. But I always like to say it because I say, we can be brought back barachamim, we can be brought back with mercy. And God tells us here, we're going to be brought back with mercy. So I want the city of Jerusalem and I want our redemption to be merciful, not through terrible wars and horrors. That's just my opinion. So that's what I said as a kid. And that's what I say, even if it's in the parentheses in many benchers today. B'shesef ketzef histarti. In a very, very small amount of time, I had anger. I hid my face from you. It was only a little bit of time. It doesn't feel that way when you're going through the suffering, when Yerushalayim is going to be destroyed. But again, over and over again, God is saying, I loved you for 99% of the time. And I will take you back with mercy. I will take you back with love. Ki me Noach zot li, asher nishpati me'avor me Noach od ala aretz ke nishpati miksof alayich umiga'ar bach. For this is to me is like the waters of Noach, right? This was a restart we needed to get rid of, to expunge, to get rid of the problem. But that was something that lasted only a little bit of time. And I swore I would no longer allow the waters of Noach to flood the earth. I will not be angry with you or rebuke you. I've gone through that. It's happened and it's done with. And just as I swore to Noach that there will not be a flood of the earth, there will not be the flooding of Bnei Yisrael again. There will not be this pain and destruction again. Ki heharim yamushu, we're in Pasuk Yud, verse 10. V'hagvaot timutena, for the mountains may move and the hills be shaken. Right? All sorts of crazy things can happen in the world. V'chasti me'itach lo yamushu v'rti shlomi lo tamut. Amar Merachamecha Adonai. But my loyalty and my love, my allegiance to you will never move. It will never break. We have this verse that we Lo Yamush Sefer HaTorah Zemi Picha, all the way back in Sefer Yoshua. Don't allow the Torah to move away from your lips. And here we see God saying, I will not remove myself from you. My covenant of shalom, my covenant of of peace and completion will be with you forever, says God. There's not going to be any more where there is going to be disaster and destruction and pain being given to Bnei Israel, because God says, I'm the one ultimately who is in charge. Continuing in verse 11, Pasuk Yud Aleph, Aniyah Se'ora Lo Nuchama. You who is uncomfortable and who has no comfort and no you're like a boat that's in stormy waters. Hine anochi marbitz bepuch avonayich visadetich ba sapirim. I will lay upon your stones and make your foundations sapphire. Exactly what is puch is unclear. It might be the stone anthrax, not the white powder, but the stone. It's a word that's also used in other places in the Tanakh. When, if you remember Jezebel, when Yehu, who's given by command by God, he says, you're going to be king of Israel, go and kill the last survivors of the house of Achab, the evil king, and he goes to kill Izebel, and Izebel, it says, puts puch be'inayich. She tries to either look her best for her death, or maybe she's trying to seduce the new king. It's not clear, but that same word is used, is there. It's some sort of makeup, something that's made out of, again, the stone anthrax, not like the poison, according to some, is what it is. God says, you're right. It seems like you're storm tossed, and you have no peace. You're constantly difficulty and being run around and wandering, the wandering Jew who has no home. God says, I'm going to make your foundations of sapphire. I'm going to make them beautiful. V'samti kad chod shimshotayich u'sha'arayich le'evnei ekdach v'chol gvulech le'evnei chefetz. I will make your battlements, they will be made of rubies, and your gates will be made of beautiful, of precious stones, and all of your boundaries, all of your borders will be made of different gems. I think of like the Kohen Gadol's breastplate, where he had the different jewels on him. And here God is almost saying, like, those jewels which represent the 12 tribes of Israel, that's what you guys are going to have completely at the time of redemption. It's going to be jewels. It's going to be beauty all around. V'chol banayich limudei Adonai, v'rav shlom banayich. And all your children shall be disciples of God, and great shall be the happiness of your children. Right? Your children will have a sense of peace. There won't be war. They won't be stormed around. They won't be wandering the way we have in the past. They will be disciples of God, and in so doing, they will have no suffering. There's an interesting way of looking at this verse. If we talk about it being not only messianic, but also regarding those who went back from Bavel, and the Talmud says, don't read it banayich ela bonayich, the builders. When the Jews went back to build the second temple, we'll see it in the book of Ezra, we'll see it in the book of Nehemiah, we'll see it also allusions to it a little bit in the books of Haggai and Zechariah. It wasn't easy. The Jews were given permission, and then there were local inhabitants, Samaritans, who got in the way of the Jews who wanted to rebuild the temple. And so perhaps this verse is saying that it's not going to happen right away. But b'chol bonayich, those who are building will be of Rav Shalom Banayach, and eventually there will be peace. It will happen. They will build the temple, even though it's not going to be simple. It's not going to be easy. Bitstakati konani rachaki me'oshech kilotiri umimichata lo tikrav elayach. You will be established how? Through tzedakah, through righteousness. We've had this word tzedek. We've discussed, does it mean righteousness in these chapters? Does it mean victory in this chapters? Here it seems to be that's righteousness. How will you be established? It has to be through righteousness. Don't build a morally depraved society. You had that during the first temple period. It didn't work. Distance yourself from oppression. Have no fear from ruin. Right? It will not come near you. Don't cheat because you're scared that you're going to lose out. Hein gur yagur efes meoti. No harm will be done. without my consent. Migar itach alayich yipol. And whoever harms you will fall because of you. And this is, again, it's contingent upon the idea of a society of tzedek, of tzedakah, of righteousness, of justice, of kindness and goodness. God says, I'm going to be kind in the way I bring you back. So God's expectation is for Bnei Israel, when they build this society, when they come back into Israel, when their city is rebuilt, they will have a society that's also based on kindness and justice. Hinei anochi barati charash nofeach ba'esh pecham umotzi kli lema'aseh. I am the one who created the smiths. I'm the one who created the people who make swords, or the silversmiths, or the goldsmiths, and etc. And I did it to fan charcoal fire and produce tools for each purpose. Vanochi barati mashchit lechaver. And it is I who create the instruments of havoc, right? You're worried, these guys, they have these swords. I'm the one who built this into the world. Yes, there's a person who's an expert sword maker, who makes the most amazing idols or whatever it is. But God says, I'm the one who creates that. Kikli yutzar alayich lo yitzlach v'chol lashon takumi tachla mishpat tarshii zot nachalat avdei Adonai v'tzidkatam me'iti nu'um Adonai. But no weapon will be formed against you will succeed. I'm the one who gives them the power. I'm the one who's created this world, which allows people to make swords and spears and arrows. And every tongue, any lashon that contends with you will be defeated. This is what's going to happen to the Avdei Hashem. This will be your nachala. This will be your, this will be your lot. And your tzedakah, triumph will come from me. So here tzedakah doesn't mean triumph or righteousness, says God, because I return you with kindness and I return you with decency. Then the tzedakah, the righteousness, will start from me, but hopefully will continue with you. And here, as we've seen many times before, we have this sort of this interplay. God is telling Bnei Yisrael, yes, I will take you back, but I'm only taking you back. And I'll take you back with beauty. I haven't forgotten you, and it will be incredible. But you have to build a society which is established through justice and righteousness and kindness. Because if you don't, what is the point of me bringing you back to build another Beit HaMikdash and to have another leading Jewish autonomous community?